never seen this happen. Jesus Christ.
You can't attach to him. This might be the craziest night we've ever had.
I don't think I've ever had this feeling.
I don't know what just happened.
Psychologically, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, back off.
Welcome to a new season of the Fine Art Medium. Moist and malevolent, dank and dark, humidities. Guys, look at this. It's so freaking hot. My hair just said no. It said bye, bitch. So, bear with me here. What up, home slices? Home fries in homes of other varieties. Today's video, we are going to be reacting to Twin Paranormal's video, The Night a Demon Possessed Me. And they are at Sumner Care and Rehab Center and Pine Lawn Manor. If you haven't seen my post on Instagram, I drew the entity. And let me just say, yeah, they have a lot of clickbaity titles and stuff. However, this video was actually very worth it. Some things happened to me after, well, I would say during and after watching it, because I had to split it up into 2 days because I was having paranormal issues, and those issues are attributed to the dark entity, I should say, that is in this location. And now, when you're somebody that is a psychic medium and you purposely tap in and you're just like looking around, you know the saying, curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, sometimes when I do that, and when anybody does that, you can create an energy thread of your energy to the location, and then the entities or spirits there can follow it back to you and cause you problems, and that is what happened. And the entity in this video is no joke. So, additionally, I will be inserting some clips. This video is going to be pretty long because it was a 2-hour and change video, and I already have a bunch of clips that I, wanted to put in, and yeah, it's going to make this video look very long. But it's well worth it. I break it down. As long as I don't get copyrighted by a third party like I have been, I'll keep the audio in the clips. But if you notice down the line when you're watching the video and you don't hear the audio of the clips, it's because I got copyrighted and had to take it out. But that's why it's very important you need to watch their full video, and the link again will be up here and in the description down below so you can get full context, because that is very important. This time around, I did not skip around. Sometimes when I have these types of videos that I'm reacting to, I'll skip around. But in this video, I did not skip around, and that's why my notes are like 6 pages long. And those will also be on Patreon because of how long they are, because I don't think I'm going to be able to cover everything that I wrote. I'll just cover the most important things. Can I just say as a quick disclaimer as well, if you are sensitive or anything like that, or a psychic medium like me, before continuing into this video, maybe do a little extra protection precautions. Just a little bit. Not to try to spread fear here, but just based off of what happened to me, because I was poking and prying. And I know some of you guys are pretty much similar when it comes to abilities to me, and I don't want anything to affect you, because it sucks. Oh yeah. And literally the first thing I felt when I literally clicked play, it probably wasn't even 5 seconds in, I felt really weird, like I was about to have a seizure. Not that I've ever had a seizure, but like what I feel like a seizure would feel like. It felt very uncomfortable. So just be careful, guys. Just be careful. So yeah, let's rock and roller coaster this bitch. And before we have people that say, oh my god, is fake, okay, here's the dealio with this one. This location is haunted as fuck. I really don't think they had to fake any evidence here. If they did, shame on them. But from the stuff that I picked up, there's a lot of shit going on. I forget how many I counted. Alright, so there were about 5 or 6 like main things going on. So I would say about 5 of them were human, earthbound spirits. I did see some bug entities, but they're kind of like minding their business, if that makes sense. They just like the dark and like the decrepit and all that stuff. Kind of like if you apply it to living bugs, insects, spiders, what do they like? They like damp, they like dark, they like when things aren't very inhabited. So it's a great place for bug entities. But yeah. And then we have the very dark entity and of course some residual energy. And I feel like with the residual energy, now when it comes to the footstep sounds, a lot of it is residual energy. However, because there are some active spirits there, some of it can be attributed to them. Now we do have fractals of pain and suffering, extremely traumatic experiences. So like that's with the fractal parts that they're picking up on the spirit box. If you notice, if you watch the video, it kept saying drowned or drowning or whatever. It's picking up a lot of that pain and suffering. Now, don't get me wrong, that female earthy is there and active, but sometimes when something very traumatic happens, it kind of just like the energy stays put in that place. And so that fractal of like that recreation or that the ongoing situation trapped in energy form, but it's not the earthy continuously going through it, if that makes sense. It's the energy that's still left behind. The earthy is trapped there, don't get me wrong, but all the earthies there that are trapped there because of the negative entity. 100%. That I could tell right off the bat. But yeah, sometimes that entity makes them relive that stuff because it feeds off of their pain, which is really... This episode made me really sad because there's no reason why these guys can't cross over. Like, they need help, obviously. Ooh, my ears are ringing. Oh. They need to be helped. But they're kind of stuck. I liked how, River had a lot of empathy, especially for that female earthy who drowned in the bathtub. But the negative entity was taking advantage of that. From what I could tell, there were about 3 females, 2 males, and 1 negative, like, non-human, like, demonic thing, and then, of course, the bugs. But there is a negative, descended male earthbound spirit. Yes. And I will be upfront. Because the dark entity is a shapeshifter, sometimes it was hard to distinguish between it and some of the earthies because it does a lot of mocking and mimicking to trick visitors, but also to mess with the spirits that are trapped. It's screwed up, honestly. But there is a man there. He's nasty. But I will show you the drawing I did of that negative demonic. I'm calling it demonic because that's what it is. If I could put it on the screen somewhere, I will. This thing is nasty. So it looked exactly how I drew it too. It had the black eyes, the white skin, elongated face, black lips, dark, like when you get to its fingertips and nails, like the tips of its fingers into the nails were black. freaking creepy. I did not like. It was very aggressive and pushy, and it does try to push to see how far it can influence a person. At first, I thought maybe it could have been a human at one time that became demonized, because that can happen. And I felt that way through the first half of the video. But then, you know, when I continued the video the next day, based on the astral attacks and experiences I had at home, I could tell you that thing was never human. Never. It tries to trick you into thinking it was or is, but it's not. It's not. It can cause PK manifestation. It's a liar. Strangely, its voice. Now, a lot of time when we communicate with spirit, it's telepathic, right? But the energy, that kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I could hear the voice of what it was trying to push out, and it was very smooth and silky, but very fucking creepy. I did not like. I do not like. I don't know how else to explain it and how, like, I perceived that type of energy, but hearing it through, like, a type of voice, I don't know how else to describe that. I'm still learning like everybody else, but that's just how I experienced it. And the fact that it can shapeshift and mimic and mock and do all that stuff, yeah, it is a trickster type demonic entity. A lot of them are. But it's interesting too, because I know there were references to the Hat Man.
Is it true? The Hat Man. Who's making this noise?
When I see an entity, whether I'm working on a client case or I'm tapping into a location or investigation, whatever. When I see an entity wearing a hat, that is my symbol for trickster. Because it's like that magician-y, like, haha, now you see me, now you don't. Like, Joker, trickstery, like, vibe. That's my symbol. And so when they were saying that, I immediately flashed to that. And I was like, oh, I don't think it's technically the Hat Man. I think it's the entity and, like, how it presents itself. Because it can present itself in so many different looks and faces. So that's what I think that is. You know what I just noticed too? The bad man on a device, like a spirit box or whatever they're using, kind of can sound like the Hat Man. The bad man. The Hat Man. You see how similar it can be? So if you have equipment that it's not super duper clear and it just is a little bit warped in how it sounds, it could sound like the Hat Man. But I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm just saying that could be a potential thing.
There are stories of people practicing dark magics and using Ouija boards when this building was once abandoned. It is believed that these things could have created a portal or opened a doorway for these entities that was never properly closed. There are some people who suggest that dark or demonic entities are attracted to human suffering and death, which did happen quite often here at Pine Lawn and the Rehab Center for many years. And when buildings or areas of land like that are left abandoned, it is said to give these negative entities the chance to latch on and claim it for themselves, using them as a site to torment the souls that might be trapped there, or even the living who are unlucky enough to enter. However, there is one more reason as to why this evil energy could be here.
Over on the Pine Lawn Manor side, the owner was told firsthand that there was a patient who had openly practiced witchcraft. Former employees stated that she had practiced strange rituals and had a very odd demeanor in general. But it only got worse. She had started to trap local cats in her room and in her dresser.
She used to trap cats in her damn dresser.
So they were alive when she'd put them in the drawer and then they'd die in the drawer?
Yep.
Almost like an animal sacrifice or an offering. Because this building was reserved for the worst and most violent patients, this witchcraft and many other activities, like death, attacks on other patients, and even attacks on many staff, were simply overlooked and hidden from the public eye.
I don't think the staff was equipped to be able to handle these people.
Many of these reported events are even too disturbing for us to talk about on here. But with so much evil that had happened before both of the buildings shut down, it's no wonder that something demonic could have potentially taken hold here.
So around here, they talk about the potential Ouija board sessions that may have went on, witchcraft from disturbed patients, whatever. I did a card pull, and it kind of can confirm some of that. I feel like someone was doing stuff that they shouldn't have. But based off of what I pulled, and I'll put the pictures up here, but we have multiple entities or spirits, duh. We have lying in wait, absolutely, that's the negative entity. Oh my god, English please. Generational ties. To me, that has to do with like the buildings being repurposed multiple times. And it's got... Ooh, my fingertips are burning. What the fuck? What the fuck? Ew! Dude, it feels like I touched something really hot. Like I just put my fingers on the stove. I've never felt that before. What the fuck? Doesn't like me talking about it. But yeah, that place has been flipped around and been so many things. And I think that that really bad entity that's there has been there for a while. But I think it was probably more so when more people were staying there longer. So I did pull a witch card. The cards might be validating that fact. Sleep paralysis. Yeah. Speaking of which, one of the attacks I had quite a few actually. Sleep paralysis was one of them. Attachment. I'll show you a clip later of what Ryan and Wyatt do that I get mad when people do this on an investigation. So attachment popped up. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan got an attachment from this based off of what he did. PK manifestation, which I said earlier, vibratory match, pain and suffering, and then you do some witchcraft things that bring the same vibration over. Yeah, it creates problems. So that is that card pull. So yeah, that is something important to talk about. And I know they talk about how negative things can become attracted to locations. Like, they did a good job there, and I 100% agree. The negative energy, regardless of origin, does spread like wildfire and affects mostly everyone through illness and influence because they were severely hindered through mental and physical health issues that left them wide open. Perfect feeding ground for negative entities and spirits. So that has to do more with, while it was a rehabilitation center and Pine Lawn Manor, there were disabled patients there that didn't have the proper defenses. They were wide open and can't defend themselves. So they were like perfect fish in a barrel for something negative to go in there and feed off of them and then trap them when they pass on. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but when I tapped in to see what the heck was there, I was greeted by a creepy smile, and you know how I feel about when entities smile at me. I don't like it. I don't like it. And that was like one of the things it did during the attacks against me, was it would do that smile thing and have it and with its black lips and its white face. No, fuck that shit. Nope. Oh, and the entity does, and the spirits do as well, go between both locations because they're on the same like premises. It's just the buildings are not attached to one another. They're like right next to each other. Here, where Ryan straps himself to the gurney, and is separate from others, I don't recommend doing that. 10 out of 10, don't do that. It can be dangerous for several reasons. I understand they're probably thinking that it is a good trigger event, and it was. But with the type of negative entity that was there, I wouldn't do that. It's not safe because you don't know what that entity is capable of doing. It does try to possess people. It does push the boundaries. And you can even see with their spirit box and their talking apps or gadgets that the other spirits are warning them that, hey, it's trying to possess you. It's failing, but it's trying. And that's dangerous, especially when you're off on your own. Now, granted, they're down in a different room, so they weren't too far. But I don't know, if it were me, and he's strapped. I don't like the idea that he was strapped. Maybe if they do something like that next time, don't strap him down. Because one thing I did feel a lot of was nausea. And I've been experiencing that for the last few days, and it's been pissing me off. But the thing with, if you're strapped and you can't move and you throw up, you can drown in your own vomit, and it's not fun. So I feel like that's kind of dangerous, and you don't want to be strapped. You want to be able to like get out of there if you have to. So even if they wanted to do a trigger event, just putting on the gown and putting him on the gurney would have been enough. They didn't have to strap him down.
My name is Sean Austin. I am a demonologist, paranormal researcher, and medium, and this is actually my first time here at Pine Lawn with you, gentlemen, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of weird stuff I pick up on this walkthrough.
So earlier you were mentioning a dream that you had.
I did.
Can you like describe what happened in this dream?
Absolutely. So a bunch of times before I'll go to an investigation, sometimes spirits or entities will come to me before I actually land in the place physically. And because there's no conception of time in a spirit world, these things kind of have an idea that you're going to be heading there. Last night, I was definitely tormented. Something came to me. I do not believe it to be a human spirit from my experience. I had a very vivid vision of this girl. She looked about 15, 16 years old, brunette, pale in the face, and she just was like kind of contorted, dragging a teddy bear like down a hallway like this, and had a very strange stare in her face. The eyes turned black and then just snarled at me and reached out like for my neck. And I woke up with the chills, and I had to bless my bedroom, and it was very troubling to try to sleep for the rest of the night, unfortunately. And I'm wondering actually if it has to do with this Pine Lawn location right here. And I actually heard someone else witnessed in this place what looked like the same aged girl in a gown, which like I saw, that was coming down the hallway here. So I don't know if it's connected. Let's see if it does.
Dude, that's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's the first time I'm hearing it.
Sean Austin's dream. Speaking of Sean Austin, I did tag him on Instagram with the drawing, and he did comment and like it. So thank you. Thank you, Sean. You're awesome. But he's talking about how sometimes before client cases or severe locations, like he can get attacked or have sleep paralysis and stuff. Dude, this happens to me like with the really bad cases. And with this reaction video, it happened to me. So, yeah, this entity ain't no joke. I think what he experienced was an astral attack by the entity. But you never know. It could have just been one of the descended earthies there. But with what I experienced, I'm thinking it was the demonic entity. At 19 minutes in, I started getting head pain. And then I felt something negative lurking around. Like I can feel something hitting me on the head. Like it felt like blunt force trauma. Now, again, I am clairsentient. I could pick up the energies from the location. So if they were very abusive towards the patients there, yeah, if someone got beat and maybe multiple people got beat, I probably felt it. But the thing is, I think it was the negative entity only because of the last 2 days working on this video. I felt it lurking around. And yesterday during my 4-hour nap, now I was sleeping very light. I have contractors coming to the house doing stuff, so I can't be like in a deep full REM sleep because I won't hear like the knocking or anything, right, to let them in. But also because Ghost has the runs still, I have to be alert and enough to where I can hear him get up, and like if he needs to go out, I'm not dead to the world. But during my light nap, I felt something standing over me at the foot of the couch, just staring at me. And then I felt something hit my foot. Now, my foot was covered by the blanket, but it felt hard. I thought it was the dog. Like, I thought it was him, like, because sometimes when he has to go out and I'm laying on that little couch thing, he will sit in front of me and then, like, he'll lean against me and just do the dog stare, like, pay attention to me kind of thing. But so I had woken up and he was passed out in his crate, which is across the room. So it was not him. And I felt it again when I went back to sleep. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is not good. This is not good. So, yes. And that was the first night. Also at this time, I did see a female earthy. She had dark, long hair, and she was skinny and tattered gown, sunken eyes, very drifty. It looked like one of those patient gowns, but it was discolored. It wasn't like that white color. It was like a cream color, like it's been dirty and hasn't been washed. And then I was picking up a masculine energy that was separate from the negative entity. And I know it was separate because this type of energy was lighter. It matched the energy signature of the female. So that's how I know it was another earthy. Strangely, I kept seeing like X's on certain doors. I don't know what that means. Could it mean that somebody died in there and they have to go to that room? I don't know. Because I know throughout the video, they have these lights above the door, so if someone needs help, it flashes, which alerts the staff to go to those rooms. So I don't know why I would be seeing an X. I don't know. Maybe someone can give me, background or whatever, because I know nothing about these places. I don't research these places when I do these videos, because I like to go in blind to remove any biases that can screw up anything that I pick up, because I want it to be picked up by me, not because I'm vaguely remembering something. Anyway. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. The energy grids. The energy grids in the Sumner care facility and even Pine Lawn Manor, they're severely worn down. Now, this can happen from a multitude of reasons, whether or not there are people doing witchcraft things that can bring down the energy grids. That can include like Ouija board sessions, rituals, seances, you name it. It can also sometimes be due to the natural characteristics of the land that they're on. Now, I don't know too much about the location of where these places are. I saw that they were wearing jackets, but they could have filmed this months ago. So, but sometimes when you have ley lines, you can have energy grids that become worn down. Also, when you have certain types of energies in a location, especially like the really negative energies that just keep hitting and hitting and hitting, and it kind of wears it down too. And the fact that this place was somewhere where there was a lot of abuse, people died, I feel like there were many variables when it came to the energy grid situation. So there's that. Also, when you bring in paranormal things, having paranormal spirits, entities, what have you, in a location can also wear down energy grids. So And that negative entity could have definitely worn down some of them grids. There are some poltergeisty, thought-formy energies created from the pain and suffering. Remember how I was talking about the fractals? Well, those fractals are a result of the pain and suffering, which I know I said before, but they're more on the level of poltergeist, if that makes sense, so they can make the footstep sounds. And then I was seeing a white man, short dark hair, large nose, stubble around the face, stocky in shape, partially bald on the top of the head, dressed in a white uniform. He looked like the staff. But then I did see the clown face, which is my other symbol for trickster. So could it have been the trickster pretending to be the man, or was it actually an earthbound spirit? I think there is an earthbound spirit that takes that form, but with the trickster demonic entity there, it pretends to be some of those earthies. So I think it's both. And then at this point, right before 20 minutes, Spirit gave me the stop, you need to take a break. And so I did. And it was right where they said, the bad man's here. So that's interesting. So the fact that I was seeing that guy, and then the bad man's here, I don't think that's a coincidence.
We didn't hear it, but it said Michael knows too much. Who's Michael?
I heard that. Maybe we should listen to this too. Maybe there's something on there.
What?
The bad man's there. That's exactly what I heard.
The bad man's there.
Oh, that's pretty clear.
And now, if you notice, which is something my experience too, is that the answer came before my question. And you want to know what happens? Because telepathically, they heard my thought before I asked the question on the audio. So in that case, in my opinion, that spirit was answering the question before I asked the question on the audio.
We've had that happen, which is very odd. Or like, when you ask a question, the answer is said literally milliseconds right after the question. Almost like they already knew what you were going to ask.
Mm-hmm. One of the bigger hits that I got was like, this man loses his temper a lot. So I think this might be the bad man. That's not the entity. They're two separate people. I was getting more head pains.
Oh, that's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
So you got to be patient with that software, sometimes, but it's trying to listen for only voices. That can't be us.
Whoa, that was weird. I didn't see anything. I felt something.
Like go through you?
Didn't go through me, but
Like right up on
right to me, and I heard it. Dude, that was creepy as shit.
Ask what just came up on you.
Who just approached me? Make yourself known.
Who just ran up on him? My hand, I just felt like a jolt of like cold air slightly hit my hand out of nowhere.
I'm telling you, as soon as we came here, I'm telling you, it felt like something went boom, boom. I could hear it. It sounded like something just to me. It was weird.
All right, let's see if something pops up.
Who just approached me? Make yourself known.
What? I'm walking. It's dude.
I hear traveled here. They're talking about probably you, maybe. Listen. It's like
Dude, do you hear the footsteps too? It's like
I do. And it's like a female saying traveled here.
Who just ran up on him?
Oh my gosh.
What the hell is that?
what the
That is full blown running.
I told you I heard it, dude.
What? What did that say?
Don't get too close.
Yeah.
Don't. That's a child. That's a child.
Dude,
They're
that's
literally,
the
they're saying, don't get too close.
Oh, so right here. What's funny is I did see a female with the long dark hair go up to Ryan. Kind of looked like she was sniffing him. I thought that was kind of funny. But it's definitely female. And I like that they are able to validate that with the equipment that they have. And then it does eventually, a few minutes later, does say demon on the equipment. Now, let me just say this. Yes, there's a demon in this location. However, not every location where this happens, there's not always a demon there. Sometimes the entities or spirits in a location will say some really freaky things because they want you to be scared. They want you to freak out so they can feed off that fear. Now, in this instance, it feels as though a lot of the Earthies were trying to warn them about the bad things that were there. And then also, the negative entity kind of jumped in on that party and we're trying to be gaslighty and we're like, they're lying. I don't know what's going on. Like, that's not true. But then later, it starts rattling off Hebrew names and biblical names to freak them out. So, yeah, it's a tactic that they use sometimes. And around 29:30, when they are strapping him in, I do hear a whistle. I don't know if they caught that on their equipment, but I do know later down the road they do capture whistles, so that was good validation for me at least.
I'm going to go ahead and start this. Apparently spirits can talk at a certain frequency that we can't actually talk ourselves. This app was developed to only pick up that specific frequency.
If there is anybody around me, if you actually are here, I have this device. I have this device that'll give me the ability to hear what your voice actually sounds like.
But I'm only a child. What child do you know, would say that? I'm sorry, that sounds like something a negative entity would say. And then the Earthies are cock-blocking them and are like, that's a shapeshifter. These guys are funny. I love them.
I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. If you can, please speak loud and clear. If you are actually here, can you let me know who you are?
When it said shapeshifter, I was like, yeah, validation, woo! Yeah, the dark, woman and child are the same entity. And it's the negative, non-human, demonic thing, pretending to be them. Now, I know Sean said he saw a little girl. Personally, I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean that any of us are wrong. It's just the things that we perceived. We have different abilities. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's wrong or they're wrong. But personally, I wasn't getting a child separate from the entity pretending to be the child. So, and now we're halfway through the notes.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, these banks are loud.
Which end of the hallway is it?
I don't want to tell you. Okay, near my feet. Do you mean harm?
Something starts pulling him away and puts him in that big room that has water on the floor. Dude, that room is terrifying.
Yeah, that room is so scary.
Please, if you can, we'd like to have a conversation with you.
You just said woman.
Oh, that's what I asked.
My life was taken?
Are you talking about the bathtub incident? Can you confirm that for us?
What?
I Why wander these grounds?
Wait, Michael?
What are you using? These devices allow you to use words. What?
Don't sleep here.
Again, these devices allow you to use words. You can speak to us.
My arms. What's wrong with your arms?
This place was for mentally and physically disabled. Sean was also picking up earlier a guy with a leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
We could hear that. We could hear that from here.
No! I just saw a shadow.
For real?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Where are you? Can you come show yourself to us?
You just asked that.
Here. Okay. I'm gonna look in this portal. I want to see you.
Where are you?
Visuals.
Why are you still here? Are you trapped? Just heard a really loud knock.
That's okay. Why are you taking your time? Do you need more energy?
Guys, these bangs are scary, dude. Are you right over there? I can't really move around. I can't really look. I have so much anxiety. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Just be calm. It's probably trying to mess with you to get you to freak out.
Well, it's working.
Nurse.
Nah. You're kidding?
Wait, nurse?
Wait, I just asked. Did something happen to you?
Ah! Something just knocked on my gurney, guys.
No way.
Yes, please.
Did a nurse do this to you? We're trying to find out what happened to you. More to the story.
Nurse hypothermia, more to the story.
Exactly.
Exactly?
My device just said exactly.
So there's more to the story. Can you help us understand? We're trying to solve whatever happened to you. What was that?
Sounded like the door.
Did you just see that?
What?
One of the lights. Third one down.
On the strip light?
Third one down from the camera.
No.
Can you do the fourth one down?
You
must trust us. Not a good sign.
How do we trust you?
Confirm that there's a little girl here, and you're not what people think you are.
My device just said drowned.
You are kidding. Was it an accident, or did someone do that to you?
Oh my God. That's insane. Poor woman.
Now let's talk about the bathtub alleged death situation at Sumner Rehab. I think it did happen. I think it's very evident that it happened, especially with the equipment. Like, that was a traumatic experience for that poor woman. So from what I was picking up, and it's really kind of difficult to see because I am getting blocked, or was getting blocked by the negative entity, but it seemed like either she made a mess that particular day and the nurse or handler, whoever, was taking care of her, lost their patience and decided to use very, I know the spirit box said hypothermia, which is cold, but I kept getting hot. I kept feeling hot. So I'm wondering, if the nurse, when it came to cleaning their patients, if she tortured them, not just this woman, with either, well, it could have been both, hot or cold water, depending on what she was feeling that day. I feel like that was a way in which she tortured the patients that she had to clean. So she would either use really hot or really cold water. So potentially, this woman could have died from the cold, but she drowned, and I think it's just her pointing out the fact that it was cold, and this nurse was torturing them with hot and or cold water, depending on the person and situation. And then she drowned in the bathtub because I suspect that she was, well, first of all, a lot of them were disabled. I don't know how many of them were on medication, but if they're disabled, that in of itself is enough for that to happen, especially left unattended. And or if they were heavily medicated, that could also happen. But I think it's very clear that it was murder. I don't think it was an accident. Based off of the clairsentient stuff I was picking up, that shit was on purpose. At least in my opinion. And of course, it's all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm not getting in trouble. La 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 la. Anyway, I do think the nurse did leave them there, and the water was either hot or very cold, and they drowned from not being able to take care of themselves in one fashion or another. It looked like this particular nurse liked to torture patients, like I was saying, with extreme temperatures in the bathtub and or showers. And I feel like, especially if the patients complained or did something that they did not like, even if it was just being difficult. And like, I know a lot about disabled people, especially when it comes to like autism or anything that kind of limits their motor functions. Sometimes they can be difficult and you have to have a lot of patience. This nurse had 0 patience, so if someone was flailing around or like particularly bitey one day or another, nurse was not having it. And she did it a lot. She left people there on their own a lot. Not good. And also, she did beat them. Again, allegedly. I feel that she not just tortured them with the different temperatures, but she also physically assaulted them. Oh, it's so sad. I also got to relive the feeling of drowning, so that wasn't fun. That's how I know, like, someone did drown there. And being a care facility, it's probably hard to find in the records because they don't want that to tarnish their reputation. I can't English today, I swear. So it might be hard to find evidence, is all I'm trying to say. But yeah, I got the pain in the throat, I got the nausea and the vomiting of water and the pain in the throat. It's not fun, and especially puking up water and inhaling and expelling water. That is a terrible way to go. I'm sorry. Condolences for that woman and all the patients there that suffered. Oof.
Oh. Is that you? Door just slammed. Door just slammed. I repeat. Okay. Hear me out. I've spent enough time.
Our device just said the F word.
The woman that drowned in this bathtub. Can you confirm to us that you are still here? Or the little girl that people have seen? Apparently you're not a little girl. Can you confirm that you are? Or show yourself?
Oh my God.
We don't want to believe that there's a demonic entity in here, unless proven otherwise.
Ryan, did you just say die?
No.
Dude, don't. She would be scared?
Oh no.
Why are you saying this? Who is saying this? Also, there's numbers on the door. I just want to confirm something real quick, just to make sure. Okay, there's no number here.
Hi.
Hello.
This is f***ed up.
Why don't you walk to us, right here? If you see these lights, we can tell where you are.
Do I scare you?
The last thing Mike said was, should be scared.
Yeah. Listen, we've never gotten that, and this one had emotion.
You've got to go. Who's saying that and why?
I'm gonna bust out of here. I can't get out of here. You do scare me because I cannot see you with my own eyes, and I'm strapped to this gurney, and I can't move. Can you open a door or something?
Ryan did not hear that, but I swear that noise just came from in between both us and him.
Yeah.
Why should we be scared?
And the entity around here is absolutely mocking them. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was like very obvious.
I just came in to grab my phone. I left it right there. In this bathroom, it says right here, doorway. Also, there's 2 mirrors right here, and some people believe that that could open up a doorway, a portal system. This just said, our own door. So what does that mean?
Maybe that's how they travel.
Dude, there is something going on in this place that is unlike anything we've ever experienced.
Change the batteries and go lights out.
The mirrors facing each other. Yep, that can create a portal. That can create pocket realms. That can be bad. I've experienced that with client cases. I've experienced that in locations. For whatever reason, it happens. And that could also be what wears down the energy grids. Especially when really bad things come through. Now, for those who aren't into paranormal investigating themselves, it may seem very repetitive that the equipment keeps saying drowned or drowning or some kind of relation to drowning. I feel like even though it seems repetitive, I feel like that's really good evidence, especially when it's on multiple devices and it's happening at different points in time. Because that proves that it's not a fluke or an error in the equipment. And as investigators, we want this to happen. Especially on different pieces of equipment. So I'm glad that they kept that. I will say throughout this video, I noticed the gang is very cautious. Especially when questioning everything that's coming through. And the negative entity does not like that, and so it did tell them to eat shit. Kind of funny, not gonna lie. But yeah, it is pissing off the negative entity. And yeah, he does shapeshift into a lot of these earthies to trick and to feed off of and try to become an attachment.
Just said aura. That's weird.
Exterminate.
Aura exterminate. Thank you for confirming.
Whatever entities are using that portal, can you come this way? Can you see us? Hear us?
Bastard.
The number 5.
That is the second time.
What do you mean by the number 5? All the hairs on my body are starting to stand up for no reason.
We want to know if that woman was murdered. It could have been an accident, or maybe a nurse knew it was going to happen and she didn't want to help. Your story is very important to us.
Over there! Trapped here!
It'll be with you forever.
What? I'll be with you forever. No, guys.
Most likely.
Okay. This is insane.
At 59 minutes, where it says trapped here, I'll be with you forever. Can I get a hell no? Can I get a hell to the na na na? Yeah, it kind of feels like it's trying to attach to Ryan and go home with them. And they need some really good Reiki sessions after this. Now, this has probably happened months ago when they filmed it. So if they haven't gotten any Reiki sessions, they need to do that ASAP. Because I'm noticing some things with their energies. some of the mental health struggles they're dealing with, allegedly. They need to address those quickly and get cleansed so they don't have any future attachments. That's all I'm gonna say there. Ouija board came up on the equipment again. That kind of validates what Sean was saying, which is great.
Let's go. This feels like a horror movie. Straight up.
Negative.
Now's your chance. We're coming over here. We don't know where all those noises came from. Gate.
Why do you feel like we're hiding from a serial?
Don't say that, man. Don't say that.
Trying to possess you.
Whoa! Stop. You're not allowed to. Do you understand?
I don't know if I want to go in that bathroom anymore.
We have to. We have to go see if anything came out of that device.
Now this, it says trying to possess you. The entity has been setting up several tests. Like I was saying at the beginning, it's very pushy. It tries to push through influence to see what it can do. And by telling them up front, while it may kind of ruin the plan, depending on how they react, maybe it knows that it's just going to freak them the heck out more than kind of like prepare themselves. But I feel like that entity knows what is triggering for them. And saying that trying to possess you, it knows that it's going to freak them out more, which can lower their vibration. So that doesn't surprise me. And it's also saying triggering words to increase their fear in general. So I do think it did try to possess them, or all of them, or one of them, or whatever. But yeah, it's doing things to push them, to push the boundaries, to make them have empathy. I know, not Ryan, River had more empathy for the lady who drowned in the bathtub, but you have to be careful, because even though she isn't earthy, that's there, that negative entity can pretend to be her and has pretended to be her to try to get you to offer your energy, which, yeah, that does happen. It tries to create that tether, which you don't want.
Get you out of here.
Okay, hold on. Listen.
The minute we get in here,
Get down. Get down. This seems pretty crazy, but Sean explained how there is this spirit here, this entity, that is taking over and not letting these other spirits free.
right?
Playing God. It's dark.
Eyes wide open.
So what if they're like, this spirit is playing God. They are dark. Shadow entity. Eyes wide open.
These poor spirits, dude. If that's the lineup I'm thinking of, like they're telling us, open your eyes. And they're asking us, does it get easier? Because they keep in fear from this thing, maybe.
Remember, too, when we were coming over here, it said question.
Wow, you're right. Does it get easier?
That's the last one that came out of there.
Was your name Victoria? Or was that somebody else talking to me?
Don't believe them.
Don't believe them. Again. This is weird, guys. We need someone to tell us the truth here.
I like that they confirmed that the entity is holding Earthies hostage to feed off of them. And at 107:30-ish mark, spirits are asking for help, explaining what is happening. And of course, the negative entity is blocking them, saying that's not true, so they don't get the help that they need, and trying to make it seem like they're lying when they're not. This is common, especially when you have negative entities holding spirits hostage. I wish I could just go in there and like work on clearing it, but I know that is not my place to do that, which is really sad because these guys need help. I don't know who owns it, so I don't know like whose jurisdiction it's under. But I don't know. It makes me sad that these guys aren't getting help.
First things first. What happened to the woman in the bathtub? If you can answer that, we can move on to something else.
Who followed us? We need a couple of...
You are surrounded by love.
We need a few answers, please.
Hold on. Trying to possess you. They're unable to possess... You are valued. Valued? You are surrounded by love. You are valued. Trying to possess you. They're unable to possess us because we're surrounded by light.
Whoa.
Secret. Wait, what? You are enough. You are enough. Dude, this is insane. This is insane.
Wait a minute.
Am I getting it wrong, you think?
I'm about to go so deep right now, this isn't even funny.
Go deep. Let's hear it.
The past few weeks have been an absolute nightmare for us, right?
Yes.
Like, the mental battles that we've all been going through, it's like someone could see that.
Oh,
and just told us all those positive things. That's almost 3. There's all these, like, stories of entities, or whether they're demonic or not, that can get in your head.
Okay, wait a minute.
Said don't believe them.
Listen to this. Trying to possess you. What if someone just told us that something is trying to possess us? And because we're feeling down lately, because we've been going through so much, they're trying to make sure that they're helping us. That you are enough. You are loved. Like...
Yeah. I know what you're saying. They're trying to...
Spirit go. Danger.
Danger.
You're right.
Spirit go, permission, danger.
They're trying to help us. They're trying to make us feel better.
Who exactly is telling us this? Can you give us a name? Or is it Victoria? I've never been this mind blown ever in a location. Like, I can't believe this.
This is crazy.
Dolls move.
Did the doll?
No, no way, no way. Can someone confirm something for us? People believe when there's 2 mirrors facing each other.
And I like that the Earthies are trying to sabotage the negative entity's plan of trying to possess the 3 by giving them words of affirmation. I've never seen that happen in an investigation or on equipment, period. So that was really freaking cool. They were trying to cock block the fucking negative entity. That was so funny. But they are right. They can't be possessed because they are strong. They have love and protection around them. That doesn't mean that they can't get attachments or have times where things try to influence them, but for the most part, they're not going to get possessed, especially here. So, was Ryan possessed? No. Was Wyatt possessed? No, especially when they were doing the autopilot. That felt more like on the influence of it pushing and testing to see how far it could go.
Don't go back there.
And then you will go.
Okay. Wait a second. Rick, you just said this is night 1.
Yeah.
You still have to come back.
Oh, I can't pull this out. Attached.
A man attached.
You will go. Don't go back there. A man attached. Dude, guys, we might be dabbling with something that is far beyond what we're capable of.
Oh, damn it, I really wish we had Sean here right now.
Around here, at 1:11:45, a man, ... attached. Yeah, it's very validating for what I said earlier at 59 minutes.
Yeah. Can you make noise? Is that you moving? You can get close.
Shut up. He thrives on fear.
1:30:05, he thrives on fear. Bingo bango. Bingo bango. And then this is the freaking moment that I'm referring to.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. If you guys are wondering, I'm looking straight out there. Very difficult because the lights are illuminating the wall just a little bit. No. Who? Harold? It just said I need an offering. I gave you an offering. Those. What are those? Say it through one of my devices, please.
Whoever is around us, The two of us are joining our energy together to give to you. If you need power... Wait. Come over here, please. We are providing the power. The energy that you need. People have seen me. Who? Who are you?
Oh. Guys, there's someone walking in here? It's full-blown walking, I swear on everything.
I'm Kane. Is that your name?
Dude, there's someone out there.
Oh, that just gave me the chills.
That was instant.
That's another biblical thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like the mark of Cain. Are you the one that leaves marks on people in here?
Who's out there?
Can you do that to one of us?
Use your energy. Approach us, please.
Oh, no. It just said, I need an offering, and you are next. No, I don't think so. I don't think I need to be an offering. I'm believing in myself.
I wonder if he's getting responses to what we're doing right now.
This is really weird.
You guys were doing so well. You were doing so well up until this point. Don't ever offer your energy to any kind of spirit or entity. That's how you invite in attachment. That is how you create energy threats. That is how you create energy cords. Don't do that because you're giving them that permission. Don't do that. You can also become possessed in that way too. When you give permission. Now obviously they didn't give it permission to possess them, but it's very similar because you have to give permission, whether that's you giving up on yourself or you giving up on controlling your thoughts and feelings and actions. Like, that is how possession can happen. And it's only a step away. But, yeah. Even though they had Wyatt and Ryan together, like, use our energy together. No. Do not do that. It's gonna pick the one with the weakest mindset in that moment or in general. So if one of the two has the most mental health struggles, it's most likely going to pick that one because they're at their weakest spiritually and they are more open. That is what I'll say. I'll say that River was smart when he was in the bathtub and it was asking on the spirit box or one of the apps, I forget, for an offering. He's like, I'll offer you the energy of the equipment, but not of myself. So good job, River. You did a good job. And he gave him flowers for the female. So I think he did a good job for the most part. Just Wyatt and Ryan, you guys need to work on this a little bit more when it comes to offering up energy when it's yours. Don't do that. Oh, and if you notice through the video, it mentioned a bunch of names. I wrote them down. So Bram, I wanted to know. I was like, Bram, what does that mean? I looked it up on ChatGPT. It says it's a male given name, often a diminutive of Abraham or Abram. Abraham is significant in the Bible, but it is a Hebrew name with roots meaning father of multitudes. And it also did say it could be short for Bertram. But the fact that it kept saying things in reference to the Bible, I'm going to say it has to do more with the Abraham thing. But it's very mocking. It's very mocking in the references. Orias, we looked that up. That is a demonic name. Abaddon is a demonic name. And so it's throwing those things out. But again, that's just my opinion. In the beginning of my journey of this whole situation of mediumship and whatever you want to call it, I started off in the field of demonology, However, I kind of stopped referring to myself as a demonologist because there are other things out there other than demons. And I just feel like the universe is so vast. I didn't want to just be like, I'm a demonologist, and people get the wrong idea. Because I focus on everything. I don't focus just on demons or devils. I focus on everything that is the paranormal. And I think too, when you kind of put those titles on yourself, you're also putting yourself in a box. And it might limit you on your capabilities and what you can see and experience, especially with energy sensitivities through the clears. So that's why I kind of like don't refer to myself as a demonologist, even though technically that is things I do cover. So I kind of want to put that out there because I was thinking about that and I was like, yeah, that's true. But yeah, guys, that is like 6 pages of my notes, 5 or 6 pages. Oh, I forgot to mention my last astral attack that happened last night. Because remember, I had to break it up into 2 days. So, before I went to bed last night, I could feel things moving around. Like that echolocation thing you get, especially if you are clairaudient and clairsentient. Sometimes you can feel movements. Sorry, I'll put those down. And I could feel it, like, watching me and, like, looming over me. And right before bed, I was watching videos. I like watching fashion videos of people, like, buying things from websites to see if they're good or not. I don't know. Not that I'm going to buy it, but I get curious. And so I was, like, in the zone watching that. And then all of a sudden, the freaking entity, like the one I drew, is in my face, and I'm like, what the fuck, get out of my face. And I had to go yeet and keep pushing it back. That thing was stubborn as hell, but I knew that this is gonna be a problem, because if he's in my space and he's bothering me, what's it gonna look like when I try to go to sleep? And so I try to go to sleep after my doom scrolling, and I hear thump thump in the crawl space. Now, we just had work. We finally got the roof fixed, and they replaced the entire roof and some of the planks in there. And it was raining. Could something have hit the roof and made that noise? Potentially. I looked outside. There was nothing on the ground. There were no branches, nothing. So I'm just like, okay, well, at the time when I'm in bed, I'm like, oh, something probably just hit the roof because it's raining. It's probably something obvious. So then I try to go to sleep. And again, I feel the motion around me. And I'm like in that in-between state. And I feel things moving around. And I'm in astral projection mode, because I'm in that in-between, and I see colors in my room. It's like a cobalty blue, like the same color as this earplug. And it's like misty, and it's like I see lighter color waves and things, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's the reflection from the window, because the way in which the curtain is, it's a long curtain, but we have an air unit there. So I had to become savvy and tie it so the air unit could blow the air in, right? So we're not hot and baking. And so there's a little sliver of the window that can cast light and stuff on the wall. It was nighttime, and we live on a busy street right next to a busy road. So I'm like, oh, it's probably from, like, vehicles and stuff. And then, like, when I woke up to pee, it was there, but it was casted from outside. So it was a natural reason for that to happen. So I kind of just debunk that and be like, okay, there's a normal, regular explanation as to why I'm seeing that. No big deal. Cool, but, I still feel the thing lurking, watching me. And I try pushing it out again. And I successfully do it to where it's not in my face. But the moment I'm, in a deep, deep sleep, I'm having an astral realm attack of the same fucking entity, and I'm at my parents' house, and I'm playing with this device, which I think we have it on the Astral Paranormal team, one of the devices we will or have been using. It's like you point this scanner thing at stuff, and then on the other receiver, it'll say, what you're pointing at. So if you're pointing it at a car, it'll say car, right? And so I was doing this on the astral realm in my mom's room, and I pointed at the TV. It doesn't say anything. And I'm like, what the fuck? It was working. And then right where I'm pointing it, because when I go to point it, I'm not looking when I do it, because I want to see what it, says. And right in the spot where I point it, I see the face of the entity on the TV with its mouth, smiling at me and being creepy. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. It's here now, too. What the fuck? And so, I try to wake myself up because I am not having this. I want to sleep. I want to have a normal sleep night, okay? Because the last few nights I've been feeling like crap, and I've been waking up covered in freaking sweat, and I hate it, and I've been tired because of it. And I just wanted a normal sleep, okay? That's all I freaking wanted and all I was asking for. So I put myself back to sleep. And then the experience continues in the same place. I'm in my mom's room. And I start getting really dizzy, and I feel like my body's moving on its own, and it freaks me out. And I start screaming. And she's like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And I tell her what's happening. And she's like, okay, calm down, calm down, calm down. Typical mom stuff, right? So I start heading to my old bedroom. And as I'm slowly making my way there, I'm in the hallway right in front of the doorway. I start seeing knives just coming off of the ceiling and falling down and almost stabbing me. I'm like, what the fuck? And my mom's like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? I'm like, yeah, you see what I'm saying? And I get this weird black stuff on my hand. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because it's like this powdery, it kind of reminds me of either ash or, I don't know. It kind of reminded me of ash. And I'm like, why is this on my hand? This makes no sense. And then this other person comes, pretending to be my friend. Was not my friend. It looked like somebody I knew, but the way in which it presented itself was off and was not accurate at all. Some of the face was similar, but the rest of it was they needed to do a better job at pretending to be somebody I know, because I was like, yo, you ain't fooling me. And then it started carving stuff in the stomach, and it was bleeding everywhere, my friend. And then it started slicing at me, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Get the fuck away from me. And as I'm trying to go and avoid it, I am brought towards the window, and it's like, I want to drink your blood. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. I woke up, woke up, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? A, this isn't scary, it's just annoying, and B, go away. I know. Anyone who's watching this video is probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah. Anyway, that was my experience. This is my reaction. Hope you guys find it interesting. Even if you don't believe a word I say, then take it as entertainment, I guess. I don't know. I can't force you to believe me, and you don't have to believe me. But that is my experience. So, hope to see you all soon, and peace out.